Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the today's session, which is from Unit 2 of System Programming. Hello, all. I am Mrs. Pragati Mahale, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology at AISSMS Institute of Information. Today's topic for the session is design of microprocessor. So to revise the earlier lecture contents before we start today's session, we have seen micro. What do you mean by microprocessor? What is macro call? And we have studied various features of macro related to micro expansion along with the conditional micro expansion. So today we are going to study and discuss the design of microprocessor. So I hope that let me share with you the screen where we are going to see the design algorithm of microprocessor along with the example. So if you can see my screen over here, we are going to see their implementation of the microprocessor. Dear students, please remember there are four basic tasks that a microprocessor performs. Once we know what is the basic task, the function the microprocessor is performing, then we are able to have designed the microprocessor using a algorithm. So what are the four basic tasks? The first is it recognize the micro definition. Okay, as we all know that how the processor identifies that we have defined a micro, it is based on the name, the this particular what we say assembly directive. Macro indicates the start of the macro definition and end indicates the end of the macro definition. So the very first task of a microprocessor is to recognize the micro definition. So a macro instruction processor must recognize the micro definition identified by the macro and micro end pseudo opcodes. Second task of microprocessor is to save the definition. Okay, so as we have seen the design of assembler where we are using different type of tables or the data structures in the design, similarly in macro also we are using certain data types data structures. So once we identified the name of the macro, the second task is to save the definition. The processor must store the macro, the definition which will be needed at the time of expansion of the call. So there is one data structure, one table which will store the macro definition. That becomes the second basic task of the microprocessor. The third task is to recognize the macro call. Means once we know wherever there is a macro call from that particular location, at that particular location we need to carry out the macro expansion. So recognize the macro call. Here the processor must recognize macro calls that appear as a operation mnemonic. Macro call means we just give the name of the macro followed by the actual arguments. That name of the macro becomes the mnemonic. The last task is to expand the calls and substitute the arguments. So after the macro call, we have to replace the macro call with the macro definition. And here the dummy arguments are replaced by the actual argument. So these are the basic steps or the four basic tasks that the microprocessor must perform. Now let us come to the design steps for the microprocessor. As we have seen the assembler design, it has two passes. Similarly, here we have two passes for microprocessor. So as you can see here, these are the general design steps. We have four steps. Step one is specification of the problem, means what is the macro defined for what we need to design that particular macro, what is the specification of the problem. Step two is the specification of the databases. To design a macro, here we are using certain data structures which will be storing some particular information or data related to the macro definition and the arguments. The step three is the specification of the database formats. Okay, so we have certain formats defined for our data bases. So in case of our macro processor, we need to define the formats for our databases that we are going to use. And then step four is we need to design an algorithm, the flow of instruction execution required for the macro processor, okay, or for the micro design. So these are the general four steps. Now let us come to the point where we understand what does the pass 1 of microprocessor does and what is the role of the pass 2. In pass 1, the macro definitions are searched and stored in a macro definition table. Okay, so here we are using a macro definition table. And in first pass, what is the role of first pass is we need to find out all the macro definitions in our program and store those macro definition in the macro definition table, which is also called as MDT, and the entry is made in the macro name table, and there is another table which is called as macro name table. So in pass 1 we read line by line every instruction in the program. We identify all the macro definitions, we store the macro definition in MDT table, and we store the the other entries related to the index or the argument in the macro name table. So at the end of the pass 1 we have two data structures ready, and also if we have arguments passed in the macro, then we also have another table which is called as ALA table where we store the arguments. So at the end of the pass 1 we have identified all the macros definitions, and we have stored the entries in this two table. Also we set the macro definition table counter and that is called as MDTC, and we have MNTC. Initially it is set to 1 as a starting index. Okay, so this is what is the role of pass 1. Whereas in pass 2, a macro calls are identified and the arguments are placed in the appropriate place, and the macro calls are replaced by the macro definition. So what happens in the pass 2 is the macro call and macro expansion. This two part of the macro execution is taken care of in the pass 2, right? So here we go to macro calls. So wherever in our program, wherever there are macro calls, those calls are identified, and then appropriate arguments are replaced. That is, the actual arguments are replaced with the macro expansion at the macro expansion, and the macro execution takes place. So this is what is the role of pass 2. So I hope, dear students, now you are getting some idea about the design of microprocessor. It is similar to assembler design. We have two passes and each pass has its own defined role, and accordingly we have to design the algorithm required for the design of microprocessor. So before that, let us understand what are the databases. Okay, so first let us see the database specification for pass 1. in pass 1 the input macro source program. Okay, so what is the input for pass 1 is our source program, that is our macro. Then the output for pass 1 will be the macro source program to be used by pass 2. Okay, so after filling up all the databases, this micro source program along with this updated data tables are passed to the macro 2, that becomes the output of pass 1. Okay, so are you clear what is the input and what is the output of the pass 1? So input is the micro source program, output is the source program along with all these databases. So let us now see each all the databases specification. So a micro definition table, which is also called as MDT. It is used to store the body of macro definition. Okay. Then macro definition table counter, as I told you, it is MDTC. Okay, so now hence please have remember these abbreviations. In further discussion, we shall use this abbreviation. So micro definition table is MDT and it is used to store the body of the macro, right? Macro definition table counter, it is like a counter or a index to mark the next available entry in the MDT. Okay, then we have a macro name table which is called as MNT. It is used to store the name of macros. So in MNT table we have all the different macro names that we will be using in our program. And we have a macro name table counter, that is nothing but MNTC. It is used to indicate the next available entry in the MNT. So this is a counter and it indicates the next available entry. Finally, we have a argument list array which is called as ALA, and it is used to substitute the index marker for the dummy arguments before storing a macro definition. So we have this particular data structure. What it does, it is going to store all the arguments, okay, that we are going to use when we make a macro call. So in the macro expansion we are going to replace the dummy arguments with the actual argument. Okay, so and for that we are going to refer this particular argument list array, and we are going to use the index marker of that database. Okay, we will understand, we are going to make take a small example and we are going to fill up all these tables as we move on through the steps of the pass 1 of the design. Now let us understand the specification of databases for pass 2. So the copy of we first input to the pass 2 is all the previous tables databases which are defined in the pass 1. So a copy of input from pass 1. Then what is the output of pass 2? The output is the expanded source code to be given to the assembler. So we make a micro call, we carry out micro expansion, and the expanded code is then sent to the assembler at the end of the pass 2. Got it? So the role of microprocessor design is to identify the macros, all the macros definitions in our program, carry out the micro calls, make fill up all the data structures associated with pass 1 and pass 2, and carry out the expansion of macro and give the expanded macro source code to the assembler, right? So I hope you understand the purpose and the role of pass 1 and pass 2 of the microprocessor. So again, In this pass 2, we are going to use the databases from pass 1, MDT, MNT we are going to use. And here we have another thing introduced that is called as macro definition table pointer. It is used to indicate the next line of the text to be used during micro expansion. Now this is in the micro expansion. We have studied micro expansion in our earlier session where we have studied the different facilities that we are using for micro expansion. We also have conditional micro expansion with if conditions and AGO conditions. So which instruction to be executed next depending upon if condition true and false status, okay, or if there is no if condition also, what is the next instruction to be executed, that index is stored in micro definition table pointer. So this pointer indicates what is the next line of the text to be used during micro expansion, right? So I hope you are understanding all the databases. We are going to solve one example so that you get hands-on for the design. Argument list array is used to substitute macro call argument for the index markers in the stored micro definition. So as I told you, we are going to use this particular ALA table to substitute the macro call arguments, okay, for the index markers in the stored micro definition. So just have a look on how this particular databases looks or what are the formats. So let us see the format of a micro definition table. So the format is, it has two particular entries here, two columns. One is the index, second is the card. Okay, so index means the number which starts from 1 2 3 4 like that. So index is like a serial number starting from 1. And what is the card? Card stores all the instructions defined in the macro definition starting from the macro name. Okay, the first instruction will be the macro name. Generally when we define a macro, the very first instruction is macro followed by the macro name and then amend. But in the cart, that is micro definition table, we do not store the assembly directive mnemonic opcode macro. We start with the name of the macro, right? So you have all the lines defined in the macro till amend, and each and every line is given an index value starting from 1. So this is just a snapshot of one of the micro definition table. So this is the format. So you have two fields, index and cart. So MDT is a table of text lines. Every line of each macro definition except the macro line is stored in the MDT. Amend is kept to indicate the end of the macro definition, right? So you will say, ma'am, macro we don't write, then what is the need of amend? The purpose of amend is to indicate that this particular macro is ended, because in one program we have more than one macros. So we do keep amend in this MDT table. Macro name line is retained to facilitate keyword argument replacement. Fine. So this is the content. Then we have the format for MNT. So here remember we have a index MNT table. We have simply the index and the names of all the macro. Okay, INCR. And the third column in MNT table is the MDT index. Means what? We have in MDT table we have defined this INR macro. So we have to store the index of MDT index in the index. So here, as you can see, this is the INCR macro. The index value is 15. So here in MNT table, that is macro name table, we need to enter the name of the macro. We also need to store the index of MDT table corresponding to this macro name, right? And this particular table has its own index field, that is like a serial number field. Again, it is starting from 1. Got it? So this is a format for macro name table: index, name and MDT index, right? So each MNT entry consists of a character string, that is the macro name, and a pointer to the entry in the MDT that corresponds to the beginning of the macro definition. So index, that is the index to the entry in the MDT. From MDT table we have to put down the corresponding index where the which defines that particular macro definition. I hope it is clear to you, dear students, what the format of MDT table and the format of MNT table and what are its entries consist of. Now let us see the next table database, that is the argument list array, ALA. It is used during both pass 1 and pass 2, but for some whatever reverse function. What happens in pass 1? During pass 1, in order to simplify letter argument replacement during micro expansion, dummy arguments are replaced with the positional indicators when definition is stored. So what we stored in the ALA table is nothing but we store the uh, arguments that we replace in during the micro expansion along with the index value. So our index value for AL is like #1, #2, #3, and the second column is the argument where we write the arguments. The ith dummy argument on the macro name is represented in the body by #I. The these symbols are used in conjunction with ALA prepared during expansion. So during expansion, that is in pass 2, okay, of ALA, the pass 1 ALA is used, okay. So this hash numbers or the index values are used during the micro call. It will map with this is hash numbers are used to map exactly the argument sequence defined in the actual and the dummy argument. Symbolic dummy argument are written on macro name to enable the microprocessor to handle argument replacement by name rather by position. So in micro expansion, the microprocessor will handle the argument replacement by the name and not by the position. Okay, so because name mapping is already done by the ALA for and it is directly used by the microprocessor. Fine. When we solve one example, all these doubts will be clear to you. Right now, please try to understand what are the databases, what are the formats. So this is how the tables look like. So macro definition table. Now we are going to see what happens during the pass 2. During pass 2, it is necessary to substitute macro call argument for the index marker stored in the macro. Thus, upon encountering the call expander, would prepare a ALA as shown below. Okay, so we have uh, one loop INCR data 1, data 2, data 3 call in the main program. ALA is prepared after this call is encountered. So during pass 1 already all the tables like MDT, MNT and all those tables are already uh, defined. Okay, so what we do in this pass 2 is we simply substitute the micro arguments for the index, because here micro call and micro expansion is what is important, that is carried out in the past too. So wherever is the call in the main program, that is identified, and uh, for a micro expansion, because micro called is followed by micro expansion. So in during that expansion, we have to make use of ALA and prepare the ALA. After the expansion is carried out, what are the changes in our ALA, that is done during the pass too, right? So we have all the arguments and the index in the ALA at the end of the pass too, right? So this is what is the uh, design, data structures and format. Now the last step that we have to understand is the algorithm. So this step by step algorithm we shall understand. We shall let us go through the algorithm and then we solve the example. So line by line we scan over the pass program, source code program. So and the step 2 is we set the MDTC and MNTC equal to 1 respectively, as a index value always starts with 1. Remember that. Step 3 is read the next line from the input source program. Then if the micro pseudo opcode, the entire micro definition accepts this micro line is stored in the table. So where we find a micro definition in the program, what happens, this micro all the lines followed by micro, it is stored in the MDT table. The name is entered in the micro name table along with the pointer to the first location of MDT entry of the definition. Okay, and then when the end pseudo opcode is encountered, all the macro definitions have been processed. So the control is then transferred to pass 2. Okay, so you can also see this flowchart of pass 1. So keeping this flowchart in front of you, now please have a look. We have pass 1. What is the next step? We set MDTC and MNTC, that is the counter values of this to 1 and 1. Then we read the next source code, right? Then what happens? Then a micro pseudo opcode, read the next source code. If we find the macro definition, means we find the macro pseudo opcode, yes, then we go on to the MDT table. If no, then what we do, if there is no micro source, means write the copy of source card, you simply go to the end. Okay, now let us focus here that yes, we identified the micro pseudocode. Then what we have to do next, we have to read the next source card, right? Enter the micro name in the MNT table. So all the line by line micro is entered in the MDT table, and then we entered the name in the MNT table. Then we increment the MNTC counter to 1. We prepare the argument list array, and then we enter the macro name card into MDT. Then we increment the MDTC to 1. So we carry out this process for entire micro definition, right? So read the next source code, substitute the index notation for the argument, enter into the line MDT, increment MDTC to 1. So all this you continue till amend. If amend is reached, mn opcode, pseudo opcode is, you find that if it is yes, then you can go on to find out the next macro defined in the program. If no, you continue reading the next instruction and increment the counters. So this is the pass one algorithm with a flow chart. So we have seen the algorithm as well as we have seen the flow chart. So now mm, let us see the, so I hope that this particular uh, simple example is visible to you. Yeah. So now we are going to see the two pass design of two pass microprocessor. Okay, so we have a simple source code over here. So this source code, so the first line is macro, then we have incr, then we are just simply going to take a simple source code where we have incr a comma 1 comma data 1 2 comma data 2 3 comma data 3, and then we end. So this is our macro definition ends here, and here you see one line and then we have a macro call, right? So macro call. So we are now going to understand what happens in pass 1 and what happens in pass 2. So let us see first the pass 1. So pass 1, you know the steps. What are the steps? First thing what we have to do is start reading line by line. Then we have to set MDTC to 1 and MNTC to 1, right? So we have set this values of counters to 1. Then we start reading the next line from the program. Okay, so we read the line and we come across the macro opcode. So when we have a macro opcode, what we have to put is we have to now start defining our tables, right? So now let us draw the structure of our tables. So as you know that we have three tables. MDT table, we have seen the format. पहला उसमें आता है index and second is the cart. So this is the format of my MDT table, right? Then second table format is MNT, where I have an index, I have a micro name, and I have MDT index, right? And the last table is the ALA table. So here again I have an index and the argument. So now these are the three table formats that we require for pass 1. Now from our program here, this is our source code. From that we shall start filling up the tables now, right? So to start with MDT table, we start with the index 1, MNDC is set to 1. So we read the first line, this we don't have to enter, we enter from INCR, right? Now INCR we have entered no argument, so we will only write INCR. Then 2, next line is A1 data 1, right? Then next index is number 3. The next line from the macro is 2 data 2. What is the next line? 3. Index is 4. The next line is 3 comma data 3. So this is our MDT table which we have defined here, and it includes all. The next line is MEND, so 5 number पे आ जाएगा आपका MEND, right? So now our MDT table is ready. What is the next table? MNT table. In MNT table, we again start with the index 1. Here we have to write down all the macro names. So in our program, we have only one macro. Simple program हमने understanding के लिए लिया है यहाँ पे. So we have only one macro. So you enter that macro here. Okay. अब वो macro हम go to MDT. Here we have to write the MDT index for this particular macro name. So what is the MDT index? It is 1, right? So you have to write here 1. So MDT index reference for this particular macro name is 1. So ये हो गया हमारा entry for the table MNT. Clear? Understood, dear students? Now let us come to our ALA table. So the next table is ALA. So what is the format of that? Index argument. Okay. Now, as you can see in the source code, यहाँ पे arguments हैं. Do we have arguments in our table? No. Because there is no argument, our ALA table will be empty. Got it? So this is how you design the different tables. So this becomes the pass-one algorithm. So you enter the tables, then what happens? Line by line, you if you see the algorithm, when you come to amend, that time you need to stop. If and if there are some more lines in the further program where you have macro, again you continue and fill up this table for that next macro defined in your program. Likewise, when all the macro definitions in the program are covered, then your pass 1 is completed and then you move on to the pass 2. Okay. Now because here we don't have any arguments, this table is blank. Now what do we do in the pass 2? Pass 2, we carry out macro call and macro expansion. So now here we came because we don't have any other macro. So all this table entry is completed. Now we move to the pass 2. So in pass 2, we find out a macro call. Once we see the macro call, we have to carry out the macro expansion. So for this macro call, in pass 2, we will carry out this macro is replaced with the macro body. So wherever INCR is located in macro expansion in pass 2, we will replace that with this particular A 1 comma data 1, A2 comma data 2, A3 comma data 3. So this is my macro expansion. Getting it? Because there is no argument. So again in pass 2 also ALA table remains empty. Okay. In the next session, I will take a more complicated program with multiple macro and also having arguments to the macro. So I hope that you have understood the design of microprocessor, what is the role of pass 1 and pass 2, and how the database is filled up in the pass 1 and the pass 2. If you have any doubts still here, you can please ask the doubts, and then further we will see the more complicated example with the arguments. Okay, so this defines the pass 1 and pass 2. So if you have anything to ask, you can ask. Thank you.